Now that's significant. The Market Research Podcast.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining us on this latest episode of Now That's Significant, a market research podcast. This is your host, Michael Howard, Head of Marketing at InfoTools. Today, we're mixing it up once again and having a guestless episode of sorts. So no pressure on me, right? So what's the most significant thing I'm going to say today? Well, BI tools aren't fit for purpose for extracting material business value out of market research data. They can be used, but the speed to insight is far too slow. I'll be exploring this topic, which is essentially comparing business intelligence tools, or BI, such as Power BI, Tableau, Google Data Studio, with specific market research analysis software, which you could refer to as consumer intelligence tools. People often conflate the two and assume that BI tools can deliver the same value as CI tools like Harmony. One thing to keep in mind through this episode is, while it isn't a perfect representation, BI tools are introspective, internally focused tools, whereas CI are outward, customer-centric tools. There are overlaps between the two types, which we'll seek to explore. But before I get too far into this episode, I want to apologize if this does come across a little self-serving. It's not my intention. Rather, the overall point I'm hoping that comes across loud and clear is one that our clients often feed back to us, and that's the importance of having fit-for-purpose tools, processes, people, and technology to help not just do your job better, but also to deliver the better outcomes for your clients. So let's start with a little bit of context. If you're frustrated with the tools and processes you use to analyze and report your market research data, you're not alone. Employees around the world, and not just market researchers to be fair, are faced with daily struggles of workarounds. They're given a set of tools, yet need to become hackers to force their tools to meet their needs. For insights functions, most data analysis and visualization tools are not built for the complexities and nuances of market research data. Yet, this is the reality that some of our peers face. Frustration and poor quality are left in the wake of projects where employees are forced to operate in environments that aren't fit for purpose, especially when needing to accomplish the sophisticated levels of analysis that market research often requires. And this is really surprising considering how central insights and customer centricity are to the modern business. Now, we're regularly having conversations with insights professionals around the world, and time again, we have our frontline people asked, what's the difference between consumer intelligence and business intelligence software? So, as they're familiar with most, we're going to have a look at BI tools first. Some of the most popular BI tools on the market today rose to fame in the early 2000s when big data was starting to take hold in the business world. Organizations were gaining access to scores and scores of data from various sources, and they needed ways to ingest and make sense of what they were pulling in. Dashboards, the output of data analysis that happens under the bonnet of such BI tools, are one of the key pages of the BI playbook. Dashboards provide personalized views of what matters to both employees and those further up the hierarchy, and when well designed, are full of information that aids decision-making. They are comprehensive systems that are particularly effective in working with the likes of finance, sales, supply chain, which are generally the same regardless of what industry or business you're in. With the right implementation and training, BI tools are incredibly useful for helping organizations understand trends, performance, processes, and other data that's typically industry agnostic. However, as powerful as they may be, BI tools need workarounds to cope with the inherent intricacies of advanced survey data analytics. From our 32 years of experience in the market research space, plus all the numerous market researchers who have worked for InfoTools over the years, we've got a solid understanding of what insights functions need to deliver the value back to their business. And here are 5 reasons that we've seen why BI tools aren't fit for purpose for market research data. Reason number 1, BI tools can't handle the data input. BI tools are only as valuable as the data that goes into them. In order to maximize the return on investment of such tools, organizations need to invest in feeding them with reliable and available data. According to McKinsey, 92% of companies they classified as leaders in a recent survey had a process in place for tracking incomplete and inaccurate data. Generic BI tools are typically designed for aggregate or relational data, yet struggle to process respondent-level data or multiple data inputs. If you want to bring disparate data sources together, it must be done manual before uploading or using limited data preparation functionalities. If the data changes, it needs to be processed again. This is both time-consuming and error-prone. It's essential that we look at various data sources to get a holistic view of target audiences, potentially bringing in together things like survey responses, online interactions, in-store shopping data, social media posts, qualitative interviews, and more. But again, BI tools aren't necessarily up for this level of detail. If you want to truly know your potential customers, understanding the market with the right tools is vital. Reason number 2, BI tools don't allow for specific applications. In market research, we like to look at data in a myriad of ways. When your tool doesn't easily allow you to accomplish these tasks, like examining weighted data, significance testing, processing multi-response questions, or building metrics on the fly, you're at a serious disadvantage. For example, you don't have to have had worked in the market research industry long to know it isn't easy to obtain samples that are representative of the general population. Generally, the data will underrepresent some groups and overrepresent others. If you want accurate insights, you need to weigh the data. If you're using a different type of application, such as a BI tool, you'll have to work really hard to apply that weighting. However, a platform that's architected for market research will do that inherently. Reason number 3, BI tools aren't always user-friendly. Sharing data among wider stakeholder groups is rising in importance. Data democratization is no longer a trend, but an expectation. But when your BI tool only allows data experts with querying experience and data modeling knowledge to create meaningful analyses, many people are left out. You end up relying on just a few people who know how to do things, like applying the correct function and feeding the tool the correct inputs. In contrast, consumer intelligence tools worth your while have customer centricity built into them, and that customer being stakeholders and decision makers in your business. Market research is a cost center for businesses until it provides positive change within an organization. Therefore, usability is critical, not just for getting initial sign-off for implementation of such a CI tool, but also for ongoing value that makes the insights function look good. BI tools don't necessarily have inbuilt statistical functionalities in them, which are required for analyzing market research data. What this means is that BI users need statistical knowledge in order to deliver insights with a high degree of confidence. This isn't obvious to those without a market research background. And as you don't know what you don't know, people are making critical business decisions based off data that is inherently skewed, and that's quite scary. However, platforms built for market research data include statistical functionalities and other like features, which significantly opens up the tool to other users outside the insights function. Reason number 4, BI tools make sharing beautiful results difficult. Visualizing and sharing market research data among stakeholders is arguably the most important part of a researcher's job. When source data needs to be manually imported and reports are not designed for direct client or stakeholder interaction, you run into major inefficiencies. These extra steps in producing outputs from data consume extra time and increase the potential for errors. If you are sharing static files like PDFs or PowerPoints that contain your insights, then people aren't necessarily viewing the most up-to-date insights. When data visualization is a core part of your technology platform, you can easily ask questions of the research data, then quickly display answers that are easily digestible. And if something else comes up as you're having a look at the data or the insights that come out of it, you can tweak it again and then produce more visualizations along the same line. Purpose-built market research solutions should have reporting organized as stories that are directly connected to the data. These stories should then be easily shareable in multiple consumable formats, including online interactive dashboards with the ability to dig deeper and filter by any available variable on the fly. Remember, the more market research, analyses, and visualization is shared, the more it can be used and the more value that it can generate as a result. Reason number 5, BI tools aren't using automation to its fullest extent. Speed and accuracy are top demands in the market research ecosystem right now. Automation is the way to get there by completing tasks, such as bringing together multiple data sources in minutes rather than days, meeting demands for quick turnarounds, and leaving you free to do your most valuable job of uncovering insights. For example, intelligent market research platforms can recognize, harmonize, and structure data sources to suit your needs, keeping your original data intact, including label, meta, and time information. Finding insights should be a whole lot smarter with the right tech too. Instead of manually setting up endless crosstabs, imagine having some smart automation that can help highlight significant differences or similarities among audience segments. This is about balancing the strengths of human capability with technology smarts. And when it works, it really is a beautiful thing. So BI tools aren't fit for purpose for market research data, but organizations are using them with workarounds. But how do you know when one workaround is one workaround too many? Look, there's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all BI tool or technology platform either. These software platforms simply can't cater for all industry nuances, organization-specific processes, and employee idiosyncrasies. And I don't think they'll ever claim to do that either. They shouldn't do either. Anyway, humans are a fascinating subject, often choosing the path of least resistance. So when it comes to technology, employees will often insist on costly workarounds to digitize their old ways of working. In doing this, they potentially miss out on all the advances and benefits of the new platform. Furthermore, it isn't just expensive, especially when you consider the high consultant and custom development fees. It's also pretty risky, as organizations can be left exposed if those certain employees were to leave. They take with them all of that knowledge, which was vital to the changes that they had made. The other element people don't factor into around workarounds is the workload and subsequent impact on employee morale. That's right. If employees need to go to extremes to get their day-to-day jobs done, then job satisfaction rates could be at risk of falling too. And in the tight talent market that we're currently in, you don't want to risk losing employees who have seen newer, better ways of doing things at other workplaces. Now, if BI tools aren't fit for purpose for market research data, even with workarounds, what options do we have? CI tools. In a world of data-driven decision-making and customer centricity, consumer intelligence tools are worth their weight in gold, especially ones that can provide a single voice of the customer via integrating disparate data sources, just as their business intelligence cousins can. From market surveys to social listening, sales to consumer behavior, NPS to ad effectiveness, CI tools bring together a comprehensive view of your target customer and the world in which they live. The data accessible by these tools, once shaped and organized, can be drilled into in all the ways you would expect as a market research and insights professional. It's not just a matter of being an aggregator of consumer data, though. It's also the quality of that data, which is just as, if not even more, important. When used well, consumer intelligence tools enable you to examine customer, consumer, and other data sets from quant to qual, structured to unstructured data that illuminate insights that are the foundation of your future competitive advantages. Not only that, but CI tools can also help clean up consumer data so you're feeding the organization with clean, reliable insights. It's scary to think that some of the samples contain up to 60% of fake, dirty, and bad responses. This is outrageous. Imagine making key business decisions based off an insight that's only 40% reliable. That sounds more like a competitive disadvantage. And that is what could well be in store for organizations who continually use tools that aren't fit for purpose. Just as BI tools with workarounds can negatively impact employee morale, businesses who invest in CI tools can positively impact employee morale, showing the business appreciates the value that the insights function offers. One last point on CI tools is that they're not mutually exclusive to BI tools either. In fact, some CI tools can even feed back into your organization's BI tools, which can provide even greater value in the process of servicing key information to stakeholders. So it's not just about having one or the other, it's using the right tool for the right job. If you're on the fence about your current technology setup, it can help to work backwards from your desired outcome. A good way to think about a piece of software or technology is what actions or outcomes you want to make become a reality, and then work backwards to see what you need in order to achieve those set outcomes or actions. If you're making decisions based on finance or sales, then BI tools like Tableau or Power BI would make perfect sense. And you already probably have one of those platforms in place. But what about making decisions based on consumer behavior? How well can an industry agnostic BI tool navigate the nuances of quantitative or qualitative data? How well can they weight and resolve sample representation issues? Software built specifically for the market research and consumer insight sector has this inherently built in, or it should do anyway. If it's a cost out initiative, the efficiency saved by using a fit-for-purpose speed-to-insight technology could reduce the actual cost to your business, especially when you consider consultant fees required to implement changes on large applications or the time your employees spend on these workarounds themselves. I hope this has given you some interesting food for thought on the role of business intelligence and consumer intelligence tools within the insight sector and potentially in your business as well. So if I can quickly recap what I've covered today, BI tools are an incredible asset to an organization and can deliver all sorts of insights that can help an organization, but they simply can't easily deliver the same kind of value to an insights professional that a fit-for-purpose consumer intelligence tool can. We dived into BI tools, exploring their rise and use in the business world, which included 5 reasons why BI tools aren't fit for purpose for market research data. We touched on the workarounds that broke the metaphorical camel's back, digging into reasons why workarounds aren't always a solution for market researchers. We looked at consumer intelligence tools and how they're focused primarily on the consumer, the customer, the user. This covered CI tools being valuable in storing and processing data in a way that respects the statistical nuances of consumer and market research data. And we finished with the need to focus on the desired outcomes, then working backwards to see what path is best for your insights function to take. So with that, I'd like to thank you for listening. Please feel free to share this episode with others. If you've liked what you listened to, please also leave us a review on your podcasting platform. Thank you.